Hello, world. Welcome back to Golf Subpar. Colt Knost and Drew Stoltz. And woo boy, Sleaze, what a week in Tahoe we had. Special thanks to the people at Corbell for allowing us to MC their long drive contest. But my goodness, that was my first time ever, Sleaze, going to the American Century Championship. I would like to have that one on the schedule every year from now until I'm out of this world.
It's the best week of the year, is it not? Not only did you have all the lead up to the tournament, which is where we did Corbell, shout out to them for that long drive. By the way, huge props to Travis Kelce, who came through late in the day. Steph Curry, I believe, was your leader at that point, who also hit a missile. He knew he
Adam
needed
Thielen.
everything you had. Say what?
Our man Adam Thielen was leading.
That's correct. Thielen took the lead after Steph. It was close between those two. I think it was just like a very close separation between those two. Travis came through and said, I'm going to swing as hard as I possibly can. And if I hit it in the middle, I got a chance. And he hit a rocket that I haven't seen a ball hit quite like that from a guy not named Jamie Sadlowski in a long time. It was an official seed that Travis hit. So shout out to him. But yeah, dude, we were there for the lead up. You ended up picking up a job too. Shout out to you. Grind doesn't stop.
No weeks off, bud. But by the way, Travis Kelce, 199 mile an hour ball speed. Just an absolute freak athlete this guy is. And no one has more fun than him. MVP every time, wherever he goes. He just puts on a show. But I did. Ended up caddying for my friend Alex Killorn, who has won 2 Stanley Cups in Tampa Bay. Recently just signed with the Anaheim Ducks. Shout out Gordon Bombay, by the way. Mighty Duck man. But yes, I ended up caddying for him. First time ever, like in a real event, actually caddying. It's not as easy as it looks. Shout out to all the great caddies out there. They put their bodies through hell. I had the single strap bag, so my right shoulder currently feels like absolute ass. But the first day was incredible. Went out, played with TJ Oshie, Hallie Ledbetter. My man goes out, gets 21 points with 2 double bogeys. We're in 3rd place. He thought all along they weren't going to repair. You play the same group the first 2 days. Well, as we were starting to get amongst it, got a little notification, repair. We are in the last group with Steph Curry. And I could see he immediately got rather nervous. But the first day was awesome. The second day, playing with Steph, 9 gazillion people out there rooting him on. My man didn't play quite as well. Wasn't very comfortable, but what an experience it was. And then on top of that, Steph Curry makes the hole-in-one on number 7.
Makes the hoop. You couldn't, I mean, just the whole week, by the way, for Steph was about as good as it could have gone. But he makes that hoop. I was watching that and I was like, oh, here it comes. Like, I know Colt's going to get in on this action here on this celebration. There's no way he's not. There was a quick little celebration by T. Didn't have long to celebrate because Steph launched into the 160-yard or 150-yard sprint up to the green. And I was like, you know what? Maybe Colt will catch him back at the green at a time to celebrate. I don't know. My man's breaking into a full 150-yard sprint, but got his celebration on that hole combined with the one he got to have on 18 after you had the little walk-off beagle. I mean, that was just like an all-time week for that guy. Finally, some good things starting to happen for Steph. It's starting to turn around for the kid.
Well, when Steph took off in that sprint, you know, I've only been in one foot race in my life, and I'm undefeated, and that was against James Blake, the former great tennis player. I didn't want to put my undefeated record on the line against Steph. I knew it'd probably be close, but I was like, I'll just wait back here and wait for him to come back. And I needed to save my legs for my caddying.
We almost had to put your undefeated fight record on the line, too, against Canelo. I gave him a little, hey, by the way, Colt says he can whoop your ass. And I don't know, you know, there's a little language barrier there, but I felt like Canelo was like, oh, he was ready for it. He didn't seem afraid of the challenge.
I said, Canelo, I mean, what's it like to have 2 losses on your record? I have 0.
Yeah, exactly. Wipe that thing. But that was him being out there. By the way, he's really good for a guy that picked it up late in the game, 5 years in. His training regimen that he was walking us through, he's like, dude, I wake up and train for like 4 hours, break, and then it's golf for like the next 4. He is as serious as it gets when it comes to his golf, and he ain't joking around. Now, he does have a fight coming up, so that's going to, you know, taper off a little bit, as you might expect. But Canelo's solid too, man. He's got a big entourage with him too. Maybe stay away from Canelo. Word of the wise.
Yeah, I think that's good advice. But, man, it's such a great week out there. I can see why everyone gets so excited to go out there and why these guys, when they get invited, you ain't passing it up. It's a tough tournament to get into. And, my God, I mean, I'm so tired right now after everything that happened out there. That it is just sun up to sundown and beyond. The party don't stop. and it
beyond
was cool, man.
sundown.
I got to give huge shout out to Alex Killorn though. I appreciate him letting me caddy for him. It was such a great experience. That was his first ever golf tournament, and to be in the mix after the first day, it was awesome. I know he didn't play the way he wanted the last 2 days, but what a great experience for both of us to go out there our first time. Just huge props to him for playing the way he did. But man, Steph Curry, that eagle on the last, and also to the asshole that yelled at Marty Fish in his backswing, what are we doing? That is so rude, so inappropriate. I didn't like that one bit.
That's horseshit. It's like, dude, that tournament is fun. The whole thing is a party, especially out there by 18, 17, 16. Like, that's where all the action is. You can yell and scream literally as much as you want. Go over to 17, you can do it virtually the entire time. All you got to do, just don't yell something like at the top of a dude's swing. That was a shit way to end. Marty handled that like such a boss, too. Like, he didn't complain. He didn't do anything. Even Del Curry mentioned something. They mentioned it on the broadcast. Steph said something about it later. Like, I know it's a fun tournament. Everyone's having a good time. Some people just want to be there to have a good time. But some of the dudes actually want to, like, compete. I mean, you saw how much Steph freaked out at the end. That actually meant something to him after all the awards that he's won in his life. That was just a shitty thing. But, dude, when you get that many people out there, that many people drinking all day, to get out of there without one guy being an idiot is a pretty big ask. But that was a sucky way for Marty to have to close that. But, I mean, Steph did make eagle, but, you know, Marty was at a pretty legit disadvantage after that T-ball.
Yeah, and especially the last hole of the tournament just sucks. But once again, congrats to Steph Curry. I told you when we were doing our SiriusXM show, I mean, I've walked with Tiger. I've walked with all the big-name groups. Walking with Steph Curry on Saturday in that second round, it's the most tickets they've ever sold, by the way. They literally had to stop selling tickets because that's how many people were out there. Walking from 16 to 17, the par 3, is honestly one of the coolest moments I've ever had in the game of golf. On 17 that day, we've seen it on TV, all the boats lined up, all the people on the beach. Unbelievable, dude. I mean, it wasn't Tiger level, but it was damn close. I mean, he's a superstar. I mean, he's freaking Steph Curry. And to be out there with him walking inside the ropes, he was so awesome, so nice to everyone. But that was something, I knew it was going to be a lot of people. I knew it would be kind of crazy. It went to a whole nother level.
Yeah, dude, and Steph's just one of the nicest guys in the world. Like, he comes up at the long drive contest. He talks about his golf game. Like, he gives everybody the time of day, even though he's like the biggest star out there. And you want to know how serious like some of these guys take it? Steph flew his swing coach in from Dubai for this week to work on his game leading up to this. Like, you know, we're joking about, you know, it's a fun tournament, all that sort of stuff. Some of these dudes, like, dude, they love being in the arena in golf and playing in something that matters. And Steph's one of them. And his game's gotten clean.
Well, the other star of the show, Sir Charles Barkley, obviously not going to win the golf tournament, but as you'll hear in our interviews, or we've seen some of our posts over the last week, there was a prop bet out there. Will Charles Barkley finish top 70 out of the 93 players? I had some action with him on the side. Nice little number. Also, threw him a little sweetheart bet Saturday night because he was outside the top 70 currently. Threw him another one to finish top 75. Obviously, 0 for 2. Had to pay me a little bit of cash, which was rather nice. But man, Charles, he's another guy. He goes. He Tahoe's his favorite week of the year, but the golf game not quite there yet, big fella.
I know, dude. I was convinced. I had my little tiny brain convinced. I was like, this is the year, dude. 70, top 70. You can kind of pick like 8 guys, at least 7, probably right off the jump. You're like, all right, they just don't really even play golf, so you're gonna beat those guys. Just go string together some bogeys, clip off a few pars, try to avoid some big numbers. I thought it was there. He had a pretty good drive too, Colt, in the long drive contest in front of a bunch of people. So I was like, all right, the nerves seem to be holding up. And damn, 81. I'm glad you and I actually had a bet too. I was like, I'll take that action. And then, you know, when the brain cleared up at about whatever it was, 1 in the morning, whenever we were talking about, I was like, I need that plus 300. And we didn't want to give it. I was like, all right, no bet. So luckily, I would have been on the losing side of that for sure.
Man, he is so much fun. And I also can confirm he does not have the voice of an angel. Got to witness him sing a little karaoke. Don't quit your day job, Charles. You're much better at talking about basketball.
Yeah, chuck on the mic and anything is typically good. However, karaoke, it's probably still sweet though.
Oh, it was incredible. On another note, to get back to my fight with Canelo, whenever that does happen, you know, obviously we got some great swag. We always look fantastic. Always look good on the golf course, but off the golf course, some people call these workout shirts. I call it leisure shirts, whatever, but they're fantastic from Polo. Tell them a little bit about our guys.
Of course, dude. The RLX Golf collection draws inspiration from the traditional aesthetic of polo, updating it to create a modern sensibility focused on performance-driven design. From sophisticated styles to the most technologically advanced fabrics available, RLX Golf is the ultimate in functional luxury and provides pieces that are ready for whatever the conditions bring, on the course or off. Ralph Lauren is the official outfitter of the United States Ryder Cup team and partner of the AJGA. Ralph Lauren is proud to continue its sponsorship of golf ambassadors Andrea Lee, Billy Horschel, Davis Love III, Devin Bling, Doc Redmond, Jonathan Bird, Nick Watney, Sean Foley, Smiley Kaufman, Todd Anderson, Tom Watson, Trevor Werblow, Troy Taylor III, Tyler Strafacci, and U.S. Ryder Cup captain Zach Johnson. The RLX Golf Collection is available in select Ralph Lauren stores, exclusive private clubs, and resorts, and online at ralphlauren.com. Go scoop yourself some gear. Look fresh on and off the course.
As we always do. All right, let's get to our interview this week. It's a little collab. Sat down with a lot of celebrities up there at Lake Tahoe, and here they are. All right, it's now time to welcome on country music star Jake Owen, who recently just released his newest album, named after his golf game, Loose Cannon.
That's right. Thank you. Thank you for finally
Congrats on the album, though, buddy.
Thank you for finally having me on your show. I know it's been a minute.
I know. Well, you respond to about 1 out of every 7 texts.
It's hard to find you on the range, too, by the way.
Yeah. I tried to blend in out here today, so I'm glad you guys found me.
Well, let's get right to it because the week's been rather incredible for you already. You did an interview as Aaron Rodgers yesterday.
Yeah, dude, we got to talk about this.
I didn't interview anyone as Aaron Rodgers yesterday. I was on the driving range, and guy came up to me and was like, "Hey, dude, so good to see you." And I don't know. I had no idea who he was, and I was like, "Good to see you too." And for the next 10 minutes, he talked to me. He's like, "I can't wait for you to come to New York, man. Like, we're all fired up." So I didn't tell him I wasn't Aaron Rodgers.
My tour doesn't go there for like a long time, dude.
I had honestly no idea what he's talking about.
I love that you kind of went along with it.
Yeah, what else? Like, this went on. This was a real thing. By the way, you say like a guy interviewed me. This is a well-known dude. Like in sports media, by the way, he's interviewed all of them.
You can
say it. And he legitimately did know. Well, you can throw it out if you want.
Yeah, part of the Dan Le Batard Show.
And then he wants me to come and talk to him today about how funny that was. And,
that he didn't know.
I guess. I mean, I thought it was pretty funny.
Was he asking about like receivers or like when did you know like this dude doesn't know who I am?
I knew the minute that I walked up because he kind of just acted like we knew each other really well, and I didn't know him at all, but I didn't want to be rude. I'm not a mean guy. I like to be nice to people.
We're so professional.
Only
on
you,
this show.
Colt.
You've started to become nicer over the years.
Yeah, I'm an older guy now. I got gray in my chin.
You do. I noticed that.
You notice that?
It's a little wisdom, though.
Well, some of my friends, man, they dye their stuff, and I'm not going there.
No, you just stay you.
Just get a close up of that.
You
Make
stay
sure
you.
people see it, feel it.
You'll still sell records.
Tell us a little bit about your golf game. I mean, because you're a stick.
You're being nice, Colt. I play okay. And I last year I finished I think top 10, and I didn't think I played that well. So I feel like I'm hitting the ball pretty well right now, and I intend on competing for this thing.
I like it.
You hit it good enough to win this. Like your golf swing, just going down the range up and down. If nobody knew anything about golf, like who could win? Like you'd get pointed
Drew.
out. Yeah,
Appreciate
that's
that.
a little fluff.
I've
Aaron,
got my
you're a good
dad.
player.
I got my dad on the bag as a caddy, so he keeps my mind right. And it's really from there. It's on God, I'm gonna let it go. I'm gonna let it go.
It's on God. It's a good way to put it. Dude.
Yeah, seriously.
It's out of your hands.
This is my first time ever coming here. It seems like the whole week is just a blast.
It's a really good time. Last year was my first year. We played a practice round this morning with Steph Curry and his dad, Dell. Me and Canelo Alvarez played them. We took the W this morning.
The champ never loses.
Champ. I mean, he doesn't lose, but it's kind of hard to see Steph take an L because he doesn't like taking L's, but I don't either. So one of us had to take the dub.
Yeah, it's the way it works.
The guy sitting here did.
That's the way it works.
Yeah.
Of all your, I feel like everyone here kind of has.
The price is right with
Yeah, it is. Would you like to guess? Name the price? Don't go over. Do you have a rival here? I feel like everybody's got one dude that they kind of want to beat. You got to have one.
So my best friend in the world, Marty Fish, we grew up together in Vero Beach, Florida. I mean, since the time we were 5 years old. And he was always the tennis player, obviously, but great athlete. And I loved golf as a kid, so I was always the more predominant golfer. But now he's obviously such a great player that I wouldn't say we're rivals, but I want to beat my buddy. You know what I mean? He in his mind, he has no doubt that he's going to beat me, but in his mind, he doesn't know that in my mind, I'm coming for him.
That's a tough one.
well
It's like the
said.
new kid at school trying to make a statement. He goes and picks out the baddest dude on the
Yeah.
It's like
in the
prison.
yard.
Right.
I was going to go that route,
Yeah.
but
Are they
I
giving
Find the
Aaron
dude and
Rodgers
punch
shots
him.
out here? Is he getting shots?
You mean the 10 handicap from Pebble
Yeah,
Beach?
he's the
yeah,
10,
he-
he
no,
should get
12.
some.
He got 12 at
Okay.
Pebble. So I was just wondering how many
At
they're
least
giving
you're
him.
over it.
I'm
At least
wondering.
you're not still bitter about
No,
it.
I'm not bitter about it at
gonna-
all.
Can't hardly even remember it.
That's right.
When you're on tour, do you get to play? Do you bring sticks and go like, hey, we're stopping here. There's a great spot.
I definitely try to do that. It's hard sometimes with timing, but I've played some incredible courses, but based off the generosity of many people out there that have asked. I've got to play your wonderful place before with you, Colt.
Yes, you have. It's the first time we met.
Yep, you took my money.
And this guy that claims to be your cousin was there.
I don't know him.
Oh, yeah.
We're not going to talk about him.
Never
Oh,
heard
yeah.
of her.
Every year, AT&T Pebble Beach, you tee it up with Jordan Spieth.
Yes.
Yeah,
What? I mean, dude, you're getting in the ring with Jordan Spieth. I mean, I know he's your partner and everything, but it's got to be. Is it a little intimidating teeing it up alongside him?
Absolutely not.
Love that.
Actually,
Yeah, it's
Jordan, you're
nothing.
nobody.
no. He's a great, incredible guy. He's an incredible talent. But I've been really fortunate since my first year at Pebble Beach to play with Jordan and his first year, and I believe he was 20, 19.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because
he's
he
a
couldn't
baby.
drink. I remember that.
Legally.
And to watch him grow, to go from the new guy to winning a Masters and winning a U.S. Open and winning majors and being a father, and now post-fatherhood winning again, and kind of watching this ride, I really enjoy watching that, and I think I look at it as like treat to play with him. So I never really get like nervous, but he's not afraid to give me a hard time about my golf.
No,
game,
he's
though.
not.
You get in the arena with those. Why don't you drag Jordan up on stage one time with you and make him sing a
He-
song so he could get a
Jordan-
little taste of that? How do you
Jordan's-
think he'd do?
He definitely has come on stage a couple times.
Does he sing?
He
or just
sang.
say hi
He
and
has.
get
He
applause?
sang once or twice.
What did he sing?
We had to fill him full of Miller Lights, I think. But he
Was that hard?
Not at that time. It
Okay,
was.
yeah.
It wasn't.
Yeah.
We got Peter Jacobson
Peter
over here trying
Jacobson
to
over
distract
here.
us mid-show.
yeah, Jake
Peter,
the
this isn't
Snake.
about you. This
Speaking
is
of
about Jake
musicians-
That's the
Owen.
real Jake over
got
here.
real
though.
musicians.
This is the
Real
real Jake right there.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, your new album, Loose Cannon. Favorite song?
Loose Cannon.
Yeah?
Probably. Yeah.
Good choice since it's the title.
It
Makes
is
sense.
it is a
That's
title,
smart.
and it's a song. I did not write the song. A friend of mine did. He wrote it all by himself. And I've always thought of myself as a bit of a loose cannon. I've never really. I can't lock into any one thing. It's even hard out here as a golfer for me to just concentrate. I'm always all over the map, and kind of that's what this album is. The songs are kind of all over the place, but they are me. And I thought it was just when this guy, my buddy Matt Roy, sent me the song. Not only did I think the song was great, but I thought perfect album title, and it says a whole lot kind of about who I am.
I like it.
I
It's
love
awesome.
that.
Let me
Yeah.
ask you this.
Deep.
You got one last concert left. What venue would you choose to play at?
Great question. I think I'd probably play. I can only play one more.
That's it.
That's it. And
That's
then I
it.
put the
Done,
guitar
dude.
away forever.
Yep.
Done.
I'd probably go back to my hometown.
That's so
No,
lame.
yeah, but it's where I
I mean,
started.
back to your high school.
Whatever,
Maybe
man.
Marty
Ryman or
come up.
something.
That's overplayed, man. Everybody will tell you that. Like, I want to go back to the place where it started. And I was a kid on a bar stool that played for a fish sandwich at the Riverside Cafe. And now I do get to play places like the Ryman, and I'm super grateful for that. But if it wasn't for the early days and grinding, like playing cover songs and everything from Jimmy Buffett to the Rolling Stones to Snoop Dogg, I would go back to the Riverside Cafe and I would play my last show ever there.
We
And
also
now-
get paid in fish sandwiches on this podcast.
Do you have a fish sandwich named after you, Colt?
No, I don't.
The grouper.
Yes, there's a fish sandwich. Now, if you ever get to the Riverside Cafe in Vero Beach, Florida, make sure you order
Maybe
that.
if you invite me to your event,
Yeah.
I'll check it out.
I would love to do that. Would you guys like to come to my event this year?
I would love. Can we
my
sing?
charity event. It's in
We would like to
December.
sing.
By the
Would you
way,
like
can
to
we
give me an
open?
answer on camera right now?
If the schedule
like to
allows it,
open.
I'll be there. But also, you have your own golf course now.
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
I do.
Tell us about that.
It's,
It looks really
it's
cool.
the Wahali Bucket Club.
Wahali.
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 Wahali. It's Native American Cherokee word for eagle. eagle flies so high, the Cherokee believed that he went to talk to God. And I believe we have
deep.
It is deep, but we have multiple bald eagles that fly around our property. And I thought it was very fitting. And we buried a bunch of buckets, and we have 9 holes, and it's a proper course.
Well, if I come, you'll have a bald colt
Yes, we will.
walking around your property.
Yeah, a little bald fish.
Yes, and you will come. Actually, it's my event that I'm speaking of is in Florida, so I
Yeah.
got to get you to Florida.
Okay.
We can do that. We will be singing.
NetJets
As long
goes
as it
from
doesn't
Scottsdale to
conflict
Florida.
with the, I don't want it to conflict with the New York Jets schedule. Do it on an off week
guys,
when you're
I
not
got
busy, Aaron.
Preseason starting pretty soon, so
Yeah, you got to go up to OTAs and minicamp and all that shit. So
That's
we
right.
really appreciate you taking time out of the football.
I appreciate you
Come
guys.
talk to
Yeah,
us.
good luck
Always
this
good
week,
to see
dude.
you,
Go
man.
get a
You're
W.
looking good.
Thanks, brother.
Now, I will say, Aaron earlier when I ran into him and told him that story, he goes, "Dude, really though, Jake, you look good. What are you, 50 now?"
Serious? It's the gray and the beard.
I know, and I actually,
Damn it.
as much as I was offended by it, I actually was like, "That's funny.
That's great.
That's actually funny.
That's
So,
great.
Good for you, Aaron.
All right, man. Thank
We
you so
love you.
much.
All right, we have a very special guest joining us here today with some breaking news.
Really?
One half of the Dan Le Batard Show with Stugotz. We got Stugotz himself coming off, I would say, one of your prouder moments in the world of journalism. Yeah,
I would say my proudest moment.
yeah, I would.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like to have expectations. In fact, I have 0 expectations for myself. The audience has 0 expectations for me. I'm not certain my staff has any expectations of me. And so what happened yesterday, while most people would be mortified, what I realized was I'm the gift that keeps on giving. And I just gave our show gold for the rest of the week.
It's so good.
All right, well, take us
And
through.
every other show, by the way, because we had Jake on and we talked
I know.
about it. But just explain what happened.
So I go over to the driving range yesterday, and really friendly with Marty Fish, who has won this tournament once, and he won it in 2020, the COVID year. I tell Marty do it when there's a gallery here.
Good point.
Yeah,
Valid.
I mean,
valid,
seriously,
valid.
they were just people on boats. Like, you got to do it when the crowd is here. But Marty is a good friend. He's a good friend of mine. He's a good friend of Mike Ryan, our executive producer, and of course, Dan. And so I went over just to talk with Marty. He was on the range, and if you ever watch Marty on the range, it's like watching a tour pro, like on the range. Jack Nicklaus said he's the best non-professional golfer he's ever played with. And then Jake Owen walks up. And he kind of like pats me on the back, and Marty says, "You guys know each other?" And I'm like, "Yeah, of course we know each other. I have him on the show all the time. Like, he's been on with us a million times." I'm thinking it's Aaron Rodgers, right? Because Marty knows everyone here. And I know Marty well enough to know that he was in Marty was in Jake's wedding party, and I think Jake was in Marty's wedding party. I know how tight they are. They're playing together this weekend, and so I know how close they are. So the beautiful thing about this entire thing is I have 2 people on my staff standing right behind me. I have my friend Marty Fish to the left. I have Jake Owen, who I'm speaking to as if he's Aaron Rodgers, and I have no one stopping it. Not Jake Owen, not Marty Fish, not anyone on my staff, because they knew what was happening right there was gold for our show, and it was me, and it fits within my character. And so it got really creepy. Like, I've been spending almost the entire night, I didn't sleep much last night, just kind of like going through the conversation and some of the things I said.
Were you asking some football questions?
I was telling him I wanted to talk about mushrooms.
Okay.
I was telling him that I had
No,
just come
that
from-
could be anyone.
He knows about
that
those.
could be anyone. Yeah.
I was telling him that I had just come from the Gorge from a couple of Dead shows, and before that I was in Boulder, Colorado for 3 more Dead shows, and he's just kind of playing along. But there was this moment, and this is where, Jake told us on our show that he really kind of knew to sink into it. I looked at him and I said, "You're my quarterback." And he looked back at me and he goes, "I'm your quarterback." And I said, "You're my quarterback." And he goes, "I'm your guy." And then I hugged him. And then I hugged him again, and then I patted him on the belly. And Marty and Jake are looking at each other like, just keep going, let it go, let it go, let it go.
And you're a huge Jet fan.
Well, yeah, I'm a sports radio host.
He's interviewed every dude in the world of sports.
dude.
dude.
No, not
I've
just like a
actually met
fan.
Aaron Rodgers and hugged him like 5 times and had conversations with him.
Dude, this isn't a random fan.
So I go back to like Mike and our crew. I go, "Hey, man, this is after I speak to Jake." And I'm like, "Listen, this is different. Aaron really likes me now that he's the Jets quarterback. Like, this is a different animal now. We have a real relationship." And Marty texted us late afternoon yesterday and told us, I think Stu thought Jake was Aaron Rodgers.
That's
Your
so
staff
great.
didn't say anything after the interview ended and he walked away. They weren't like, hey, so by the way, that was actually Jake Owen.
Or my staff just.
God bless him.
Yes, exactly right.
So they
No, you're
handled
right
it.
about that,
They
though.
handled it the perfect
So,
way.
Most hosts would be mad at their producing staff, at their production staff, and I'm not. It's the best job they've ever done of producing me.
That's beautiful.
By just letting me be me. So listen, most people would be ashamed and embarrassed, and I'm not saying I'm not a little bit ashamed and a little bit embarrassed, but it's good for our show. It's good for our audience.
I think
and that's really all I care about.
He was
to be
wearing
honest
all
with you.
red everything. That should
I
have
mean,
been
he
maybe,
does look
you
like
know?
Aaron Rodgers. I don't
Oh,
care what anyone tells me.
Oh, without question. But the outfit,
Yes.
I feel like Aaron doesn't really get too flashy like that.
But let's just say your week started off with a high, though, and now it could possibly go downhill because you are going to be on the bag for someone this week.
I am with Mike. It's going downhill from here. I've heard he peaked. My week is peaked already.
Yes.
Life, maybe.
I'm not even certain I want Aaron on the show now. You know, it's like I'd rather have Jake Owen on the show. And Mike wants to have Aaron on and just talk to him about country music, which would be great. So we'll see what happens. But I am caddying for Golick on. We play tomorrow. At 1:00 with Marty Fish, me and Mike and our staff. So I'm looking forward to that. And then on Friday, I am caddying for Mike Golick. I probably should be playing instead of Mike Golick, but I'll be caddying for Mike Golick on Friday. And then I'm getting out of here. As soon as his round's over, I think he has the first tee slot with Mike Vrabel. So when that's over, I head out to San Francisco because there's 3 more dead shows. And I ain't missing
More
them.
dead shows
Yeah.
to get to, yeah.
What's your caddying experience like?
I don't have any experience.
Perfect. This is
yeah,
gonna be great.
I told Golick, hey, if you need a distance, ask another caddy. If you need a club, ask another caddy.
Lose my number.
Because I'll be off. Lose my
Yeah.
number. I'll be flirting with Patrick Mahomes, and I have interest in everyone on the in the field except Mike Golick Sr. but this got me on the course, and that's all I care about.
I think once people hear this, people are going to be sprinting to the betting windows to load up on Mike Golick.
I wouldn't do that.
I saw you flicking a few in between your shows here today. You creep out to the range and flick a few. What's the game like?
It's not great. It's not. You
Solid.
asked me a funny question as you were walking by. You figure it all out. No.
Yeah, you got it.
No.
So watching flick wedges, like, got it figured out, but
No, I
Nope.
think that's the beauty of the game, though, right?
What'd I
It's
tell
like-
you, though? What's the advice? What's the line?
I forget the advice. I'm so
If
rattled
golf
by
mattered,
Jake
I'd be
Owen.
good at it. That's a good one
Yeah,
for it. You know
you're
what I mean?
right.
You're
That's-
too busy interviewing.
And I should have
Aaron
I'm going to
Rodgers
steal that
and
from
shit.
you if
Yeah,
you don't
can have
mind.
that.
Okay?
You can have that.
But the game's not great. I'm decent. I'll shoot like mid 80s,
That's decent.
low 90s. But I think I think even the best players in the world, they still haven't totally figured the game out, right? And that's what
Never
makes the
figured
game.
this game
That's
out.
what makes the game so great and makes the game so challenging. And so, for me, it's just being out at a place like this, beautiful weather with friends, and
Stuff to beat.
just driving around the course, having fun, having some drinks, playing golf, and we'll see what happens, man. I mean, I'm not good, but I don't want to be good. When you're good at something, it comes with expectations. And as I said
you
earlier,
start to care.
I don't like expectations. I don't want to care about anything. Right, you're the good golfer, and everyone knows you're the good golfer. And then, they go, hey, let's go play with a couple of buddies, and you're trying to win. No, I just want to shoot my 92 and, be on my way.
Yeah,
That's
do
it.
some mushrooms
Yes,
and
exactly.
keep it moving.
Not on the course.
You know what I
I
mean?
don't mix
No,
mushrooms
keep it
with
tight.
golf,
Keep it
right?
tight. Only
Yes,
dead
yeah.
concerts.
I love it.
Have you talked? Last question though. Have you talked? Is Aaron aware of this?
He is aware.
Happening?
Yeah, he
What
is.
was his reaction?
He laughed. Jake told him, actually. He laughed. I haven't seen Aaron. Well, I don't think I've seen Aaron yet. He laughed. I'll see him tonight, I think, at the there's a meeting here before the tournament gets underway. But he laughed, and my hope is that he'll come on and we'll have some fun with it.
Yeah.
And, but he thought it was funny, and he said, listen, I know Stu. That's just Stu's character. And also, Aaron said, listen, all the time. Aaron actually said this. People mistake him for Jake. People mistake Jake
Yeah.
for Aaron. They do look alike, but my quarterback probably should be bigger than that.
Yeah,
But Jake would still be a top 5 Jet quarterback of all time. I would tell you that right now.
start asking about
Wow.
receivers.
That's nice. I like that.
He can slide
That's
in
good.
as backup.
Slide him in right after Ken O'Brien, like number 5. all
Moms
time.
will still be in danger though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So Aaron knows me. He knows me. He probably knows me better than I know him, which is weird. So we'll have some fun with it. I'm certain. So Jake said when he told him, he was just cracking up and laughing and saying, "Yeah, that's Stugotz."
I can't wait for
it was
Stugotz.
inadvertent, but it's the highlight of the week for I think everyone.
It's unbelievable
at this point in
I
the
mean,
media
just
world.
sinking into Jake Owen saying, "I can't wait to talk about mushrooms with you." It's like, what am I doing? And why would I say that to Aaron anyway? Even if it was Aaron.
Of course that's what
So
you ask Aaron
unprofessional.
though.
Yeah, I know.
Oh,
Whatever.
God bless you, Stu.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks for coming on.
Thank
Keep
you,
being
guys.
you.
Before we get back to our Tahoe interviews, I want to tell you about Destination Kohler. We're going to go to Kohler, Wisconsin. It's home of the American Club Resort Hotel with 4 world-class 18-hole championship golf courses and luxury hospitality experiences, all located just 1 hour north of Milwaukee and 2.5 hours north of Chicago. The Straits course at Whistling Straits has been host site of 3 PGA Championships, a U.S. Senior Open, and the 43rd Ryder Cup, and just celebrated its 25th anniversary on July 6th. We got 2 special packages for you. The Champions Trail Golf Package includes 2-night accommodations, 3 18-hole rounds per person, a round on the Bass Short Course, golf cart, and caddy fees. Gratuities are not included. A 30-minute golf lesson and more. Visit destinationkohler.com/golf for more details. There's also the To Die For package, which includes 3-night accommodations, 4 18-hole rounds per person, a round on the Bass Short Course, golf cart, and caddy fees. Once again, gratuities not included. A 30-minute golf lesson, and more. Once again, that's destinationkohler.com/golf. Let's get back to the interviews.
We got our boy here. I would say a very slept-on competitor this week. The greatest American hockey player to ever live, by the way. This week going for the crown. Mike Modano. Good to have you, bud.
Good to see you again. Good to see
to
you.
be with you.
Yeah.
First off, not
Always.
talked about. That's because he pukes all over himself every year.
We're going to be harder on you than we are on most of our guests here
I
because
know.
we
'Cause
we
you
know your
see the
potential. You
potential.
my former member
You've seen it.
partner. I know what you can be, but you get out here for some reason.
You've both seen
You should win this thing.
the
or should've-
possibilities.
Yes.
What's your best finish here?
Third?
Third? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Six,
You're,
better than I would have
Sixth
thought.
last year.
you're in the
There's
mix.
a lot of top tens. But somewhere, somehow, in that weekend, there's a throw-up day.
Take us through it because on the range, I mean, you're like Tiger in 2000. And then you get out there and you go like Brendan Morrow just slapping it all around.
Oof, that hurt. That's low. That's low.
Do
That's
the
right
nerves
in the
get up
low.
for you in events like this?
There's a trust factor.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't quite have the, you're able to let it go as you do on the range. There's a little bit more at stake. So, yeah, you get a little tentative.
But you honestly, you love the game as much as anybody I
Yeah.
know. Like when you're home now, I mean, you're retired now. You got a bunch of kids running around. How many days a week you spending at the course?
It's good 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
still get out.
Kind of letting yourself go a little bit.
I know. Usually
Getting a
it was-
little lazy?
Usually it was like 8-hour days,
Yeah,
about
oh,
6
yeah.
hours.
You're not working out anymore,
No,
obviously.
I let it go.
Yeah, it's disgusting, honestly.
Pasta, bread,
Yeah, all the stuff. Handicap, though, for the listeners who don't know, what do you play at? You go out with your boys.
I go out with probably a 4 or 5. It's kind of gone up.
4 or 5 handicap?
Yeah.
What the hell's happened to you?
You're a +2. You're not a 4 or 5.
trying to
lying
hustle
ass.
us? We're
This
just
is a
sitting in a
yeah,
chair.
dude. We don't even play with you anymore.
It's a trend going up.
You're heading to 4 or 5.
Yeah,
That's bullshit.
I know.
I'd
That's
have
not
to
true
bring
at
you to
all.
the Whisperock member guest at
I
a
know.
4 or 5.
At a
I know.
5.
Someone
That'd
might
be-
kill us
that'd be
after
good,
we
though.
win,
I know.
but-
We might not make it out of there
Like
alive.
Aaron Rodgers at Pebble. It's not going to go over well.
I noticed
That's true.
perusing around earlier today. I noticed your bag. No driver. We're sans driver this week. Is that the game plan?
You know what? I had a Paradigm fitted about 3 weeks ago, and I love that thing, and I was just killing it. But you get out here again, you're talking dispersion.
Dispersion. That's the
know.
word.
I don't want to hit it on 1 from 10.
Yeah.
I can hit it on 7 from 4.
A lot of spectators.
I know.
A lot of liabilities.
Listen,
And it's the block push right. So, and it's a fader's course.
It's perfect for you. Just
Which
get it
is
started
fake, yeah.
online. We're going to fix it in 10 minutes.
I know.
You're one of the greatest hockey players of all time. When the puck was coming at you, did you think, okay, I got to take it back this way, go through this way? No.
No
You
time to
just
think.
Absolutely fired.
Yeah.
That's what I need you to do. Just get out there and fire.
I know. Hockey was instinctual.
This is
It's
too.
reaction.
This
That's
is
just,
too.
just sitting there.
Just begging to mess it up.
While we're on
That's
that,
why I hated doing shootouts. I hated shootouts.
too
I'm
much
like,
time to think?
Yeah, I go, Coach, don't put me in a shootout.
Yeah, where am I going to shoot it?
Yeah,
Where,
I'm like too much time.
We have
Yeah,
the
yeah.
hockey guys on, and we always love to hear like what they did with the cup. You were part of the Dallas Stars in 1999,
Yeah.
which was amazing.
Yeah.
What was one of your best memories of having the cup?
Finally, when it went back to Toronto, because I didn't want to see it anymore. We went. It was a crazy 2 weeks after we had it, which is normally not the case. It usually goes right back to Toronto, and then it filters back to the guys who've won it, and they get their day with it. But it stayed in town for 2 weeks with Tom Hicks, and he had some stuff. So every night we had it out, and then we ended up at Vinny Paul's house the night before the parade. So we were late for the parade, dealing with the Pantera guys. So it was 2 weeks of debauchery, and that crew that we were with. Those were some hard going individuals. They lived hard, and I don't know how some of them are still alive, but it was 2 weeks. But then it finally left town, and we all took a break. But then it came back, and I just had family, friends, some neighbors over. It was a calmer day.
I think Holly's still drinking.
What happens
Probably.
to that cup? It's got to take some dents and some dings and some bruises. They fix that thing up every year before they give
they
it back
polish
out?
it up, they knock it out, they take it apart, rebuild it. That sort
that
of thing.
thing's seen some.
It's got some miles on it. It's seen some bottom pools, I'm sure, and people knocking into it. So it's got some wear and tear on it.
I love
As
it, man.
should.
Well,
As it should.
go have yourself a week out there. Do you
We
know your
will.
odds this week?
I don't know.
I don't either. I was
I haven't
hoping
seen
you
them
did.
out.
Should we throw a little action
After
on
you said you're a
Sure.
4 or 5 handicap, I'm pretty much not
Yeah, I
listening
know.
to anything
What the
else
hell
that you said
happened?
at this point. All right, let's leave it in this because you talk about how you got to think so much.
Yeah.
You always, without question, have like some sort of new swing thought, or like literally day to day. What are we going with this week? What's the swing thought?
Connection.
Connect. That's it. Just
Yep.
one word.
Yep.
Because normally it's like
No.
this on the
We're-
takeaway
yeah.
top. You got 7 things.
That's because I was hung around Chris Como too long.
Oh, just Barry Como.
Oh
Perfect.
God, Chris.
Love that.
Chris, we didn't say that. All right, we are joined now by the winner of the American Century Championship just 2 years ago. Our man, also a guest on Subpar, Vinny Del Negro. Good to have you, brother. How we feeling going in the week?
Feeling good. I mean, it's hard not to have some fun here with the weather, the course. I think the superintendent and the staff have done a great job considering 50 feet of snow, and the course in pretty good shape. It'll get faster, the greens will get quicker, but NBC and American Century, it's first class. The fans are great. The scenery's great. The lake is beautiful. It's hard to complain.
Scenery is very good.
Yeah.
This is my first time here, and I can see why you like it so much.
It's hard. I mean, what's not to like?
I want to
the
play
weather's
this golf course. This thing
Oh.
looks short, tight, right up my alley.
Oh, exactly. You'd kill it.
Oh,
You'd kill
I like it. I
You'd
like
kill it.
But you mentioned game. You won 2 years ago, 12th last year, but you were banged up. A little healthier this year. Make another run.
Well, a little bit, yeah. I mean, my knee's been bothering me. I missed the tournament in Maine a few weeks ago, but didn't play very well today in the practice round. The back nine I hit it good, but here it's all about keeping it in play, as you know, hitting in the right spots and making some putts.
When you look at the field, like how many guys do you think realistically have a chance of winning here?
That's a good question. I'd say 12,
Okay,
15,
12, yeah.
somewhere in there. I think, the normal guys that have won it before, and then there's a bunch of other guys that are knocking on the door. And then if you can, get your putter out, and you guys know in Stableford, you just stay in it. And then if you can get hot, a few birdies, an eagle here or whatever, you can jump back up there. So you got to keep grinding. It's a 3-day tournament, which is much different for guys.
I also feel like it's kind of 2 tournaments because if you go across the street here in the evening times, you got a big portion of the fields in there till God knows when, and then some of them aren't.
Yeah.
Right? And then some are hitting balls afterwards, some aren't. So there's some guys really into it and some guys that like the social aspect. I feel like you're somewhat like one of the few that's like in the middle that still contends and can win the thing, right? Because you're in there. You like
Yeah.
to fire some cards or
Yeah.
go to the concerts and all that,
Yeah.
but you still check in when it's game
I
time.
put my work in. We're all competitive junkies. So, all these guys I'm playing against, we've played against each other for years. We're all competing. We're all, I want everybody to play well. I just want to play a little bit better.
just want to beat
know
their
what I mean?
ass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing. So, but you still have to swing the club, hit it in the right spot, make some putts. But it's hard not to have fun up here. I mean, we're so lucky, so fortunate, and American Century and NBC, like I said, do everything first class. And this whole event is just spectacular.
It's an awesome week. But as a former San Antonio Spur, y'all obviously been in the news a lot lately. Victor Wembanyama. Give us your thoughts on him.
I like his height for sure. I mean,
Does he
he's
need
got
to
some-
lose a little weight?
He's going to develop there. Pop is the perfect guy for him. The system there is going to be great. They're going to bring him along slow. He's 19 years old. His skill set is incredible. His feel for the game. I think he'll impact the game more defensively early on, and they'll protect him. They don't need him getting injured. They need him to continue to develop. He'll get stronger. The thing I've been most impressed with is some of his comments. How he's a worker. He wants to get in the gym. He wants to improve his game. He sounds very coachable, and that'll fit right into the Spurs motto. And Coach Pop is, I think, a perfect fit for him after having a David Robinson and Tim Duncan and the success the organization had for 20-plus years.
You guys got to keep Britney Spears away from him, and 2,
That's crazy.
like when at the end of his career, people are talking about him being a generational talent. Will he go down as one of the all-time greats?
It's hard to
I know
say.
it's an early prediction.
Yeah, it's hard. I mean, how do you predict that? The kid's 19 years old. Let him have fun. Let him make some mistakes. Let him learn. Let him understand the NBA game, the physicality. I think the biggest thing for the young players is you're playing against the best guys every night. There's a lot more games. There's a lot more travel. There's a lot more speed to the game, physicality. And some guys figure that out early in their careers. Some guys take a little longer. So we'll see how he develops there. But they'll monitor him. They'll protect him. They'll do the right things. But the skill set's there, the size is there, and I really like kind of some of his comments in terms of how he wants to develop his game.
And every night that he goes out, like, speak to this because you coached in the NBA. Like, all right, he's a dude. He's the most hyped prospect since LeBron. Exactly. So every guy, whoever he's checking or whoever's checking him,
they're going after.
They're going to try to get in his ass.
And they'll learn. And
but you know what I mean?
And they'll learn. And he'll learn that. And Pop understands that. And the system will understand that. That's why I think his defensive, because of his length, his shot blocking, his weak side coverage, his rotations, I think will impact the game there. You can switch him with his length onto point guards and two guards. But offensively, they'll put him in spots where it's comfortable, protect him, keep him as healthy as possible, and let him learn the NBA game, learn the travel, learn the players, learn the speed of the game. And that might take a month, 6 months, a year, but he's only 19. So I think everybody just needs to give the kid a chance to develop, have some fun, enjoy what he's doing. And like I said, Coach Pop will be perfect for him.
You obviously know the NBA much better than we do, but does he remind you of anyone?
It's hard. I mean, 7'3", playing the perimeter. Obviously, Kevin Durant is 6'10", 6'11". Kevin was very thin coming in, but he had the shot. Victor's obviously a longer player, more shot blocking ability, it seems like. So I don't like to compare guys. I think Victor needs to be Victor, and whatever that ends up being, I think it's going to be very special.
All right, we got one of the best personalities in the game of golf, NBC analyst, my role model, Peter Jacobson. Oh, Jake, how we doing?
Wow, that is high praise. Good, Colt. How are you?
I'm great, man. Always great to sit down with you. We're here at the American Century Championship. You'll be on the call this week for NBC. How much fun is this week?
This is easily the best event that we have all year. It's so much fun to hang with these sports heroes and celebrities and to be able to kind of get inside their head about the game of golf. And they want to get inside our heads about the game of golf because Steph Curry, Andrew, any of the guys that we talk to, they just want to know how to hit a wedge, how to drive it down the fairway, what they need to do. So it's kind of fun to be able to talk about that.
Isn't it amazing how so many of these guys that are the best in the world at their craft, whatever it is, football, baseball, basketball, they come here and, like, they want the knowledge from the actual golfers, like, more than anything. It's like most people would trade quickly, golfers, but I'd rather be a rock star or whatever, but all they want to do is play good golf.
Oh, I would rather be a rock star.
As would I. You are a rock star, though.
No, I'm not. I'm a pretender.
Part-time.
I'm a pretender.
Jake Trout and the Flanders?
Jake Trout and the
Flounders.
Right.
Flounders.
We were going good for a while. We're on iTunes until we lost Payne Stewart in that tragic air accident. But we did some good stuff. We had a lot of fun. But it's one of the most interesting change for these players because Patrick Mahomes and Romo and Aaron Rodgers, they know what they're doing confidence-wise. They get out here and all of a sudden they're like, uh-oh. What do I do with the golf ball on a tee? How do I hit the ball straight? So they're always looking for info and information on how to hit the ball straight.
The only thing Morgan Wallen and I have in common is that you are our role models. I mean, if it wasn't for Jake Trout and the Flounders, I don't think we would ever had Morgan Wallen.
Is that how Morgan got started with the little Flounders?
I don't know. But thanks to Darius Rucker, he gave us our name. We used to hang out a lot with Darius and the Hootie the Blowfish the Monday after the Masters, and we put together our little group. And Darius said, "Well, you're Jake Trout, and you're the Flounders." So we owe it to Darius.
That's
awesome.
how that came about. I didn't know
That's how
that.
it came about. Yeah,
Interesting. Some
good
tracks.
stuff.
Very good tracks.
Well, when we were doing it, and all of you want to listen, go on iTunes. But we did duets with Glenn Fry, Darius Rucker, Alice Cooper, Huey Lewis, Bruce Hornsby, Kevin Cronin with REO Speedwagon. We had some real musicians that made us look good and sound good.
That's awesome. Well, I mean, you've been doing the TV game for a long time. Like I said, you're one of the best personalities. I mean, I think back it was you, McCord, Faraday. Was TV something you always thought you might get into?
I had no idea what ever get in TV. I had no thought about doing it. When I was about 25 or 6, I got a call from Don Olmeyer with NBC, and he said, "Do you want to start doing some TV for me at the Skins game over Thanksgiving?" And I said, "Sure." I've never passed up an opportunity like that. I had no idea what I was doing, and I went down to Palm Springs, and I worked with the great Vin Scully. Vin Scully and the great Don Olmeyer, and I just sat still, and I kept my ears open, and I listened, and I learned. And that was how I got into it, and I've never looked back. And to me, being able to be involved in the game from the other side while I was still playing was just a joy and an opportunity for me to learn both sides of the game.
Is that a flattering call to get when you're still playing and they're like, hey, why don't you come do TV for us? Because they're like, you ain't calling Jack, you know? Like, is that like, should I be hanging this up? Or are you flattered?
I'm like Colt. I've always had the gift of gab. I've never put down a microphone. I've always had the opportunity to tell a story or jump in. So I think that worked in my favor. And it was really flattering to be able to go down to the Skins game and talk about these great players and kind of dive into the whole world of their competitive world, trying to win these Skins. We don't do that anymore, unfortunately, with the Skins
I think we need to bring it back.
We need to bring it back. But
unfiltered Skins game.
Look, I
Get the
tried
guys
to
some
do
more
that.
money.
I tried to do that about 8 years ago, but the money is ridiculous what these guys want for a day.
Yeah.
Back in the day, we used to play, first hole was worth 30 grand, second hole was worth 40 grand. Nowadays, if it isn't worth 300 grand, these guys aren't interested. So it's a whole different world now.
It is wild. If I was going to ask you, you got a youngster coming up in the TV world. What's one piece of advice you'd give him?
I would give them two pieces of advice.
Or two, even better.
What I would do, I would make sure you learn to do two things. And you know this, you guys know this as well as anybody. Television is a visual medium, last time I checked. So you have to make sure you honor the viewer by telling them something they can't see. If I were to say, oh, that ball's on the green, oh, that's 5 feet from the hole, that ball's in the bunker, they see that. I don't need to tell you that. But most importantly, tell them something they don't know. Oh, Ernie Els changed the grip on his driver today. He changed shafts. He's got a different caddy. Tell them something that is going to play into the competitive aspect of the game and that the viewer may not know, because you're there to provide information. You're not there to tell them what they can see. So those are the most important things. And you can never get in trouble for something you don't say. When in doubt, shut up.
That's the hard one.
Yep.
That's the hard one.
Well, for a lot of announcers, it is. Shut up. Let the action. Nothing wrong with listening to the birds chirp and the crowd cheer and the players discuss things with their caddy. You can't get in trouble for just being quiet.
Let it breathe.
Let it breathe.
Let it breathe.
One last thing, we'll let you get out of here. I know you're a proud Oregon Duck. Y'all are building one hell of a golf facility up there. Tell us about that.
Well, it's pretty cool. It's pretty humbling. We wanted to build a practice facility. Casey Martin, the great Casey Martin, who played the tour, as you know, with a birth defect, and he rise to the highest position he could in the game of golf. And he fought to get a cart. He went to the Supreme Court, and he won the Supreme Court decision. And then he didn't keep his card, and most recently he lost his leg. He's the coach of the Oregon golf team. He's won a national championship. He wanted to build a practice facility for the men's and women's teams. So we went to work and we started raising a bunch of money. And I got a really cool call from Derek Radley, the women's coach, and Casey Martin. And they said, we're going to name it the Peter and Jan Jacobson Practice Facility, which
awesome.
It actually kind of makes me emotional talking about it, because I love the Ducks and I love Casey Martin.
Well, congratulations.
They call it the Jake, is what
They
Quinny's
call it-
telling me.
They call it
Call
the
it
Jake. Yeah.
That's pretty cool,
Yeah.
man. That's
Very
really
cool.
cool.
Thank
for
you.
you.
Thank you so much for joining us. Have a great call this week, man. Always fun sitting down with you.
Well, thanks. I brought the show way down here, but
No,
I
no.
appreciate
Drop a
you
new
guys.
album too.
Oh, that would be great. If you guys are on the album, would you want to do it? We'll get Jake
Yeah,
Owen.
we have.
We'll get
We're like
Darius.
utility guys. You can move us around.
You guys are good, Tim, on the
Yeah,
tambourine?
tambourine.
Okay,
Yeah.
we'll do it.
I'm a hype man. I'll get the crowd going before y'all come out.
Okay.
All right. Peter Jacobson, thanks for joining us.
All right, well, that was our collection of interviews from up at the American Century Championship. Jake Owen, unbelievable. How about the story Stugotz thinking he was Aaron Rodgers?
I was so glad we got Stugotz on. One, because I love Stugotz, because their show, like, they just bullshit with guys and talk about non-sports the entire time. But he is the co-host of one of the biggest sports shows in America. And you would think, especially being a Jets fan, might be able to recognize your new starting quarterback, who's arguably the biggest name in the sport. But I love him. He owned it. Shout out to his production staff, who did not tell him that he was mistaken on the identity of their guest. And I would love Would love to get Stugotz in for like a full sit down. He's such a beauty. He was out there in between their interviews, flicking wedges. He had to go out there and caddy. He was in the caddy game too. With Golick, that dude's a 10. Jake Owen, shout out to him. He handled it like a champ too. Just went with it.
Everyone out there, man. Such a fun week. Can't thank them enough for having us. Hopefully, we'll be back next year. And Corbell, y'all do it first class all the way. 10 hours of straight talking for the long drive thing was a lot, and standing on our feet. I need a lot of things to help me get back to normal. We'll talk about that at some other time, but whoo, boy, that was a lot of fun. Special thanks to everyone. But now it is time for golf's fourth major. It is here. No better place to get in on the action than FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. Right now, new customers get $100 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. All right, we got all kinds of actions. We got matchups, top 20s, win, whatever you want. We got it. And it's the Open Championship. It's kind of sad it's the final major of the year. Got to wait all the way till April for another one of these. But we're going to Hoylake. Cam Smith, your defending champion. All the stars will be there. And it is time to make some picks. And I think we're on the same page when it comes to the favorite, even though I love Rory McIlroy this week. Shocking, that's not really going out on a limb. I'm just not a big fan of 7-1 odds.
I feel like I never bet the outright favorite in these deals. Rory was going to get all the hype leading up anyways, and then he went and did what he did at the Scottish and closing it out the way he did. Like the Rory train's going to be in full swing. It's just not enough juice for me to fire on that. But, yeah, he's going to be a force.
Also, Scotty Scheffler currently at 6.5-1, 19 straight top 12s.
Yeah, stay hot, bud.
How's your wallet right now? Good God.
I mean, some people be like, dude, I had 3 top 12s on tour this year. I had a pretty good year. He's just done 19 straight. It's a joke.
All right, well, for my favorite, I believe it's the same for you. I'm going to go with the defending champion. Cam Smith going off at 16-1, won his last start on the LIV Tour. I think with the short game, if it's firm and bouncy over there, he's as good as anybody. I just think it sets up really well for him. I really like Cam Smith this week.
I'm with you, dude, for all the reasons you said. We don't rehearse this. Like we said, we just each make picks. Sometimes they line up. Sometimes they don't. You mentioned the win in Tulsa. He's got 2 wins on LIV this year. 9th at the PGA, 4th at the U.S. Open this year as well. So coming off back-to-back top 10s at major championships. And probably, for my money, the best short game in the field when you combine, around the greens and with the putter. He's nasty. So, yeah, give me Cam Smith 16-1.
All right, for Dark Horse. I'm actually taking one of your guys, bud. You're not. I'm just absolutely plucking him right off your team. He's 65-1. It's time for him to break out. Min-Woo Lee.
Oh my God, dude! This is my newest guy on the All Sleeves team. Throw him up there with the rap. When this kid pops, which he's going to, his golf swing, by the way, is so filthy. He hit a pitching wedge at the Scottish last week. 255 he had to the hole, pitching wedge on a little upslope over the green. He can hit bombs. He's incredible in interviews. As soon as he starts winning, which he will, the world is going to love this dude. So I got to get on him early, but love that pick. I would be thrilled if Min-Woo Lee could get it done. All right, I'm going with a guy we haven't taken in a while. He came on the golf scene hot, kind of took over the game. He was the kid for a while, just turned 21, so he's growing up now. He's got to hit that prime, and he's got to get it while he can because he's growing up in age, but he's going off at 55-1. Give me Tom Kim. So he's got good form. 6th this past week at the Scottish with a final round 73. It was brutal out there that day, but he top 10 for the first time ever at a major championship out in LA. And his last 2 top 10s, if you count those 2, tough golf courses where the winning scores weren't that far under par. I'm hopeful if we can get some conditions this week at Hoylake, it'll be the same thing. But like we said about Cam Smith, around the greens and definitely on the greens, this guy's one of the best in the world. So give me Tom Kim as a little sleeper.
That was a hell of a lot of information.
Yeah, dude.
My God.
That's jewels, bud. That's
what
homework.
Just happened?
That's homework. Yeah.
All right. Well, there you go. I mean, I don't know what the hell you just said, but he's going with Tom Kim as his dark horse. The Open Championship is here. It's going to be awesome. Make sure you go to FanDuel.com/subpar and join today. FanDuel is safe, secure, and super easy to use. Plus, when you win, you get paid instantly. So don't miss your chance to tee off with $100 in bonus bets, win or lose, when you make your first $5 bet. Go to FanDuel.com/subpar to sign up today. Make every moment more with FanDuel. FanDuel, official betting operator of the PGA Tour. Must be 21 years and older and present in select states. First online real money wager only. $10 deposit required. Refund issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire in 14 days. Restrictions apply. See full terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Hope is here. Gambling helpline ma.org or call 800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts. Call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. That's 467-369 in New York. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under an agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit FanDuel.com/RG in Colorado, Iowa, Michigan, New Jersey, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Illinois, Tennessee, or Virginia. 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT STEP to 53342 in Arizona, 1-888-789-7777, or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut, 1-800-9-WITH-IT in Indiana, 1-800-522-4700, or visit ksgamblinghelp.com in Kansas, 1-877-770-STOP in Louisiana, or www.mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland, 1-800-522-4700 in Wyoming, or visit 1-800-GAMBLER.net in West Virginia. All right, that's going to do it. I'm going to go sleep for a week, Sleaze. So I'll talk to you next week.
Long week, buddy. Good showing out there. I loved everything I saw. Hell of a week. Time to shut her down. Watch a little Open Championship.
All right, everybody enjoy the Open. We'll talk to you on next week's Golf Subpar.